With players being rested for the Tuesday game against Chorley, our only catch-up game saw us head to 16th place Kettering on a drizzly Saturday afternoon with a depleted side, where, in the end, Rion Potts' recovery attempt was rather futile against an inspired Offisu who got himself a brace. So, with just the one catch-up game, I thought this would be a great episode for us to have a little look at how we've been doing compared to our season preview and how other teams have been getting on as well. Now, as you can see, we are obviously top of the league. 27 games played, 21 won, 4 draws and 2 losses, with 46-4, which actually isn't the most scored in the league. That actually goes to Guiseley with 50. Admittedly, they've conceded a few more with 40 conceded to our 13 and then a goal difference of 33 and 67 points. But who has been doing the best and who has been doing the worst in each of those categories? Then we'll have a little look at the season preview and just have a little comparison, because we know we're overperforming, but I think there's some other teams overperforming as well, specifically Chorley. I believe Chorley is expected to be about 10th place, and them up in second is arguably a bigger upset than us being top. So, first of all, we have against. So the best teams fought against at the moment are us, Chorley, Gloucester and Boston, followed by Fylde, Brackley and Hereford. We then have the worst performers. The worst performers are Bradford. They've conceded 59 goals. Then Curzon Ashton with 51, 47 for Southport, Alfreton and Leamington Spa on 44 and 42 respectively. And of course Guiseley on that 40, not far behind as well. In terms of goals for, well, the worst goal scorers in fact are Blyth, Bradford and Southport, which explains why they're down in 20th, 22nd and 21st. But some teams a little bit higher up. Kettering has only scored 26th up in 17th. 13th and 12th, Brackley and Hereford have both only scored 26 and 27 as well. And 28th for both Hereford and Curzon Ashton in 12th and 19th. But the best goal scorers, the best one has been Guiseley thus far, scoring 50 goals in 27 games. They are on fire in front of goal. If only they could actually stop them going in. Then 48 for Farsley, who are in 6th place, 46 for ourselves, and Gateshead with 45, with 42 for Chester, and Boston with 41. We then have the lowest amount of losses. That of course is ourselves. Then Chorley in 2nd, 10th place Gloucester, and 6th place Farsley. And you can read down the list if you wish. I'm not going to read through all these. 21 is the worst for losses though. Bradford, bottom two teams, you would expect them to have the worst losses. But then there's Curzon Ashton. The one that probably stands out the most is Leamington, 15th, maybe 16th. Here, so you've got 17th, 16th and 15th here, all struggling. I think they're either we win or we lose. So, who's had the most wins, who's had the least? Well, we've had the most wins with 21, and the least, of course, is Bradford and Southport on 3 and 6. Blyth, a team struggling to pick up wins, is Telford. Telford has drawn quite a few. If we go to draws, the teams that have been drawing a lot are Gloucester, Farsley, then we have Darlington, Telford and Boston, and then all on 7 are Chorley, Alfreton and Blyth. But how does that compare to the season preview? Well, the season preview suggested that Fylde would be top of the league, Boston, then Guiseley, then Gloucester, then Gateshead, then ourselves, although I believe this has been updated. I swear we was down in 7th. Darlington, Chester, Kidderminster, there's Chorley in 10th, Brackley, Southport, Kettering, Alfreton. So, yeah, the league is looking reasonably as expected, but there's a lot of teams underperforming, a lot of teams performing over. Bradford, Blyth. Blyth is technically overperforming. Yes, they're not playing great, but Blyth is overperforming considering they're in the relegation zone. Southport is expected to actually be all the way up in 12th. They're having a terrible time. Bradford's expected to be down in the scrap, so that is not too much of a surprise. Leamington's not doing too bad, up in 15th at the moment. Like I said, us and Chorley are overperforming. Fylde, Gateshead, Kidderminster, these teams are all pretty much expected to be up there. Chester in 8th is about where they should be. Yeah, 9th place for them. The likes of Hereford, Darlington, though, underperforming for what you would expect of them. at least at this part of the season, we're past the halfway point and we don't have much to go. Because as you can see right now, let's just, for argument's sake, say Chorley win their game in hand. They'll be on 55 points. That still gives us a 12-point gap, but we won't have that if we cannot pick up a victory in today's game. But before we get into that one, we do need to head on over to the medical centre. Before we dive into today's game, we've got a couple of injuries to have a little look at here in the medical centre. The first one, of course, comes from last episode, where Michael Ducksworth picked up an injury. Now, he picked up a pulled ankle ligament in that one. That is a moderate injury, and, well, it's going to keep him out for 2 to 3 weeks. So, he's going to miss today's game, unfortunately. Thankfully, we do have plenty of backups, and we don't have to rely on Max Drake, who, quite frankly, has been rather dismal since we signed him on loan. Then on top of that, we picked up an injury to Paddy Mclaughlin. Paddy Mclaughlin, he ended up pulling his groin in training. Don't know what he was training, but he managed to pull his groin doing it, and thus got injured for 7 days. Now, he is on our bench and is lacking a bit of match fitness due to that. It's only a minor injury, so he can play, and he's only a substitute, so he only needs to play about 20 minutes anyway, so he is fine to go for today's game. But speaking of today's game, let's head on over to Victory Park. Welcome everyone to Victory Park, home of Chorley FC, or perhaps maybe it's just the shared back garden of about 20 houses. Yes, this ground, it's a bit awkward to get to. You have to go down a side alley next to a nursery, or go between about 6 houses down a not very well signed area. So it was a bit of a pain to get into the ground for today's War of the Roses as first versus second in this Vanarama National North game. But without further ado, let's crack on with today's match. Okay, there's just a couple of things I would like to go over before we crack on with today's game. First of all, Chorley, I'm a little disappointed in your home support. We've got 1,400 roughly for this game out of a 4,000 capacity. 1,400 out of a 4,000 capacity for first versus second. That's dismal. That's rather dismal, Chorley. You need to pick things up in that department. And then on top of that, you might see a W Tomlinson on their team. I promise I am not rigging this game. That's not a relative I've told to throw the game for them. But without further ado, let's head on into the dressing room and let's give a motivational speech to the team. So I think we need to show everyone the, you know what, punch fists. And I want to win every match, and today is no different. Let's go. These fans turn up, we're away from home. The fans' speech is for home games. I want to impress today. No, I think we need to show that recent praise has been just bad. Put on a real shout there, lads. That has motivated half the team. That is what we like to see as we are about to commence with the War of the Roses. Yorkshire versus Lancashire. And what on earth? I just realised it's gone to 6. Okay. We had 3 before, we now have 6. Don't know where the other 3 come from. They've just appeared. By the way, we are going for a positive mentality in this one. I know, of course, I'm currently blocking that, but it's a positive mentality if you are curious to what is behind me. But Henley coming down this right-hand side right now. Lovely tackle by Gibson, and he plays it over to right. And now we are back to free game. Okay, it's trying to confuse me. So okay, we've got our league table, we've got our scores, and we've got our player stats. We've got everything we usually have. It's all good. 94% on the passing though. Oh! Alright, didn't he need to touch that one? Sean Newton gliding a free kick in. Second goal of the season for Captain. Oh, Captain! Let's have another look at this one. Right, looked like he tried to get onto it. I don't know what their goalkeeper was trying to do, scooping it up. But we've got a goal, ladies and gents, here on the 6th minute, thanks to our captain and centre-back, Sean Newton. Now, Blakeman coming back at us, and Crow's just going to push him over, and rightfully has picked up a yellow card as a result. Crow, you can't be doing that. Quick free kick though, whipped in. I would not have been happy if they scored from that. I don't mind us giving him the free kick, but him taking it that quickly, that wouldn't have been nice. But Calverley is coming down this right-hand side. Plays it short to Henley. He's under pressure. Gets it back to Calverley. It's back to Henley once more. Get a tackle in, lads. It's with Tomlinson now. Someone dispossess him, please. Henley whips one in. Nodded away. Wright collects it. Plays it to O'Keefe. And he gets it up to Willoughby. Instead, though, it's intercepted by Holds, in fact. It was a bit of a misplaced pass. Henley with a through ball, though. Nice tackle by Newton. Wright gets it to Donaldson. Now with Willoughby. Got a nice run here by Heaney. Heaney making the run down this left-hand side, gets past his man, pulls back, gets it over to Gibson. Gibson perhaps going to go alone. No, he pulls it back for Wright. Wright coming inside. Come on, switch it to the right-hand side, lads. You're under pressure on that left. Just get it back over to the right. Newton. Play it across. Yes, O'Keefe. O'Keefe now plays it up to Donaldson. Now we've got space on the left. You can play one over there if you wish. Gibson's found lots of space. In fact, Crow has on this right as well. So, Crow coming at them. Whips one in. Willoughby gets a free header. Oh, Willoughby, just keep it down. Keep it down, Willoughby. That would have been a goal. That was a lovely opportunity. Lovely build-up. But unfortunately, did not result in a goal. We do have a free corner. Sorry, Heaney whips one in, but Wright cannot keep the header down. And it remains 1-0 here after 18 minutes. So, any goals elsewhere? Well, Spennymoor is 1-1 away to Chester. The ball is played up to Hull, though. Whitemore has it now, plays it through. Dyson, though, will intercept and play it back to Crow. It's now with O'Keefe. O'Keefe, lovely ball up to Donaldson. He can get it across to Willoughby. Instead, though, he's going to be greedy and just kick it into the crowd. Other games, Curzon Ashton 1-0 up against Hereford at home. Gibson throws it into Heaney, pulls it back for Gibson, lovely ball, back post, Dyson, oh, he's crashed off the post, but Willoughby with a follow-up will get his second goal of the season, and it's 2-0, ladies and gents. 2-0, 2 goals, both players getting their second goal of the season. It's just a story of Tues here in the War of the Roses. The question is, though, can anyone get a brace? Or perhaps even go one better and get themselves a hat-trick? Right now, though, I'll take a 2-0. Half an hour in, not too shabby. Growing the lead, of course, on that second place. And Calverley will play it back to Blakeman. Blakeman gets it to Dreyer, and Dreyer will hoof it up. Fielding, though, will knock it down for O'Keefe. O'Keefe now up to Willoughby. Kurt Willoughby plays it back to Newton. That was a bit of a waste, but Fielding holds up possession. It's now with Crow on this right-hand side. You get a lovely ball through to Dyson. Instead, he cuts inside, though. It's back out wide to Crow. Crow has way too much space. We've lost the left back. He's whipped it in. Heaney back post. Can't get his effort on target. What a shame from Heaney. Now, Gloucester 1-1 against Alfreton. Kettering is 1-0 up against Telford. Have we got any other results that have changed? I don't think we have thus far. Newton, though, whips one in. It's nodded away, and Hall will go on the counter-attack. Come on, O'Keefe, get a tackle in. He's got past O'Keefe now. Can our centre-backs close him down? I believe this one is Newton. It's played back to Henley, though. Henley coming down this right-hand flank. Heaney, lovely tackle by him. Plays it up to Donaldson, and it's now with Gibson on the counter-attack. Gibson pulls it back for Heaney. Heaney tries the ball through to Willoughby. Unfortunately, though, it goes to Baines, and it's now with Whitehouse. Whitehouse gets it back, and it's over with Blakeman on this left-hand side. We have about 7 minutes, probably nearer to 10 when we account in additional time. There's probably about 3 minutes, is my guess. But Calverley plays it across to Whitehouse. Whitehouse with a lovely ball up to Tomlinson. Tomlinson, though, I again would like to stress he is not a relative that I paid off to throw this game, although that effort did look a lot like it. Gateshead, though, 1-0 up against Farsley, to speak of other games and distract you from Tomlinson missing the goal by so far. So, as you can see, 90% passing, not as good as we've recently had, but it's a good, solid amount. They've had 0 shots out of their 4 on target, though, getting them a 0.09 XG. We've got a 1.355 out of 11 on target. We haven't been very clinical, but they have just been absolutely useless in front of goal. So, not too bad. I think we need to show everyone there is, show the form's fine. That has motivated a lot of people. Donaldson is now looking complacent, and the other two are just having good games and a calm, so it's all good. We've got a complacent Brown. Well, you're not coming on, Matty Brown, unless things get drastic. And now, Willoughby shall take the kick off. Pulls it back for fielding. He gets it over to Crow on the right-hand side. It's played up to Donaldson here on the halfway line. Now, Willoughby. Willoughby plays the ball over to Dyson. Dyson tries to go crossfield to Heaney. Halls, though, will just hoof it away. Now to the other Hall, in fact. And it's played down to fielding. O'Keefe, by the way, finally picking things up. He was on a 6.6, now he's back down to a 6.6. He's going between that 6.6 and 6.7, so he's probably the one I'm looking at substituting at the moment. Right, pulling it back for Gibson, though. Gibson inside to right. Right now, over to O'Keefe. O'Keefe plays it back to right. Over to O'Keefe once more. Now Newton on the halfway line. Gets it back to O'Keefe. Now up to Dyson. Come on, overlap. Crow, make the run. Make the run. Donaldson inside to Heaney instead. Crow does not need, he's not needed. The ball goes inside. Donaldson finds Heaney. Don't know how Heaney got that space, especially considering the amount of space we had over on that right hand side. It looked like there was compacting in the middle and we had to go outside. Look at that. 2 players on Dyson. Plays it inside to Willoughby. Over to Donaldson. Quick passes. Gets it to Heaney. And he has a nice one-on-one which he finishes against the goalkeeper. So, 62nd minute quickly approaching. We have in fact gone past it. It's the 63rd. And we all know what time that is, ladies and gents. That, of course, is substitution time. What I class as the ideal time in Football Manager to make your substitutes. So, we are going to pull off a few players. In fact, Brown, don't make me regret this, Brown. We have a 3-0 lead, so I'm not worried too much. But I'm bringing you on. And just to go extra questionable, actually, you know what? We won't. I could risk some, you know what? We'll try it. If it goes wrong, we can always move fielding inside, Newton to the left and Gibson over to the right. But I didn't particularly want to put fielding on the right. I'll be honest, I wanted to keep him in the middle. But right now, it'll be okay. I think it'll be okay. We've just got to believe. Now, who is struggling? O'Keefe was having a ruffle, so he can come off for Mclaughlin, and then I guess we'll just hold on to that third substitute. As you can see, everyone's in the green, barring Dyson and Fielding on 6.8s respectively. So no one's really having a bad game. We don't really need to push for that third sub, and we shall just hold on to it in case we get an injury, or I guess unless someone gets a yellow card, and I want to take them off and make sure they don't get sent off. Now, Chester 2-1 in that one. Keston Ashton still 1-0. Gateshead still 1-0. Gloucester is 2-1 against Alfreton. And Wright has the ball right now. Plays it to Gibson. Heaney, ball up. Can he do anything on this left-hand side, though? Heaney pulls it back for Gibson. Whitehouse will intercept it, though, and play it back to Lever. He levers it up, in fact, to Cardwell. Cardwell on this right-hand side. Will he get across it? No, he's going to pull it back, in fact, for Henley. Henley making a darting run down this right-hand side, but can he do anything with it? He's being closed down. He whips one in, back post. Hall hits the post, and he follows it up. Follows his own shot up. Connor Hall, 10th goal of the season. And I think that might be the one that means we shifted up. So, Brown, get across to the other side. Fielding, get inside. Gibson, Newton, swap. That was dismal. So we're just going to fix things up a little bit out the back. Shuffle them about. Make Charlie wonder who's marking who. And hopefully that shall be enough. Kettering is 1-0 up against Telford. Guiseley is still 0-0. And we have picked up another injury. And of course, it's our striker again. Willoughby. What's up with Willoughby? 75th minute, potential groin injury. I feel like that's going to be a 6 to 8 month sort of injury. I just have a bad feeling. I feel like the game is seeing we're doing well and now it's trying to punish us with injuries. This is what tends to happen with Football Manager. So, let's get him off. Thankfully, we did hold on to that third substitute and I didn't just force the substitutes on. And we go into the final 10 or 15 minutes with a bit of bad news. Thankfully, Rion Potts, he's been playing well and it's going to give him some opportunity to develop because Rion Potts does have a lot of development in him. Thankfully, Whitehouse does not have a good finish in him, at least in that situation, and he was offside, so we're saved by that as well. Hull also offside there, as I just noticed at the bottom. Now, Kettering 1-1. Telford has just pulled one back on the 80th minute. Ofosu, who of course got a brace against us and managed to beat us. Yeah, his one goal hasn't been enough for them in that one thus far. Goodrich, though, plays it inside to Hall. Hall is tightly marked. He gets it over to Whitehouse. Whitehouse tries the ball back across, but the final whistle has gone. Ladies and gents, it is 3-1 here in the War of the Roses. And Captain, oh Captain, Sean Newton with a 7.7 has picked up the player of the match. But our next one, we are going to be returning to the FA Trophy as we play the quarter final against Grimsby at home. So, I thank you all for joining us. I hope you all have a lovely night and goodbye.